to do the live streaming? You got the recording down. Kim, do I need to do the live streaming as the main host, or is it going to let you do that?
Yes, you need to live stream it, but I can let people in.
All right, let me take care of that real quick, and then we're going to kick it off.
Tony, how much snow do you have?
Gosh, it's like about 4 inches now, and they're supposed to get another 4. So next 24 hours.
So fun.
I know I'm more excited than the kids.
I would be too.
So you're going to have a white Christmas. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
All right, we are live streaming. We are good to go. So with that, we're going to go ahead and kick off today's meeting. We are so blessed and honored to have, well, first of all the leaders that have decided to partner together in this builder collaborative group that we have. And just to reiterate, for those of you that may not have been on the first week, this idea kind of came about because sometimes other leaders will say things, they might say the exact same thing, but maybe they say it in a way that resonates with you, because everybody has a different teaching style. And so with that in mind, and also the fact that we have the most incredible leaders within Modere, and it's just a shame that we don't get to hear more often from so many of them. And so the idea was like, why are we not sharing this brilliance with everyone on a somewhat regular basis? Because I know I can learn a ton from Sarah Taney and Tony Zolecki and Christina Camberas and all of the leaders that have partnered together with us in this group. And so that was the intention and the heart behind why this started. And so we're so blessed and honored for all those leaders that have said yes. Tony Zolecki is our guest speaker today. And he's an elite Black 3. He's been in the network marketing industry for 25 years. So that's awesome. We can obviously learn a ton from his wisdom and experience for just the time he's been in this industry. He's been with Modere for 10 years. And Tony, if you've ever met him or had the blessing to meet him, he's one of the most warm, humble, genuine people you could ever meet. His smile and energy always lights up the room. He's very, very generous with his knowledge, and anything that he learns, he's always so eager to pass that along to other people. So we're just so grateful to have him here today. Tony, thank you so much for being here. And with all that being said, I'm going to let you go ahead and take it away.
Awesome, Stephanie. Thank you. You're awesome, and just appreciate you so much. And really all the leaders inside this team, and you're just incredible. I think about just the value you add to all of us every single day, and how you make us all better. And you just pour in the people, and you don't care what team you're in or who makes money. It's all about how can I make the people stronger, which creates a stronger company, which creates a stronger culture, which creates just a bigger opportunity, for people to join us, partner with us, and do great things. And I just love everybody here. I see a lot of faces that I know, and I just respect y'all. And I'm so excited for what's going to happen, in 2023 with all of us. It's going to be epic. So here's the thing I want everyone to understand. So I was in the profession, for a long time, early in my career, and I wasn't a superstar. I didn't make a lot of money. It took me 5 years to figure out, really how to build a team, grow a team, make good income, what I thought was good income at the time. And, when I was with that company, it went out of business, my first company. And I was so frustrated because I was, when I started 19, and, I'm going to turn 50 next year. So look at it. It's the college, and everybody, it's the college. And so just telling you my age. But, when I was with that company, I was 19. When it went out of business, I was like 27 years old, and I started making, 10 grand a month, my last couple of years in that company. And I was just like, man, what happened? Like, I was finally figuring this whole thing out, recruiting, team building, growing, leaders, all the things we do every single day. And then it went out of business, and I got so frustrated, and I was like, I'm never doing networking again. I'm just going to take all the skills. I was in New York at the time. And I said, I'm just going to go to Wall Street. I'll just take all my skills from network marketing and go do that. And that's what I did. And I want to tell you this story because it's going to be very impactful for where we are today. And what I mean by where we are today, I mean, we're in a $200 billion profession, and leadership will never be rewarded like it's going to be rewarded in the next 12, 18 months, like it is going to be rewarded right now. I mean, it is such a big opportunity for us. I mean, there's going to be more people joining network marketing, joining our profession, joining direct sales in the next 12, 18 months, in my opinion, than any time in history. And we've got the baddest company, the baddest leaders, the baddest systems, the baddest everything. So I want you to get this point. So company goes out of business. I'm 27 years old. I'm in New York. I'm like, never doing networking again. I go to Wall Street. So I start selling storage, data storage systems for a company called EMC Square. Big company in the 90s. It was unbelievable. It took me 3 months, which is a whole nother story, to get that job. Out of 500 people, one person they were looking for. 90 days later, boom, I got the job. And I remember back then it was the .com boom. I don't know if you guys remember the .com boom, but I want you to get this point. So we would go in to these .com companies back then, and we would sell $1 million storage systems, right? Millions and millions of dollars per unit. So we'd go in with a team of people, all our engineers, all our smart people, right? And as a sales guy, I would lay it out to that .com company, like what our systems are going to do, how much money are they going to make, if they act on it now, how they're going to like blow past competitors and really just create speed, right? My biggest thing back then was, as I looked at a business, I was like, how can I create speed for them? So the story goes like this. There was a lot of .com companies I went into, and they made fast decisions. They acted quick. They didn't think about things too much. They just did it. They got into action with me. They were like, let's go. And I watched those companies over the years make millions, some of them billions of dollars when they sold their .com business. It was unbelievable what happened. And then there was the other side of that, where I'd go into these .com businesses and it was dysfunction. There was so much apathy and complacency, and they couldn't make a decision, and they were all over the map. And I watched them literally go bankrupt. And I look at it back then and I say, well, what was the difference back then to the ones that grew like crazy and had an amazing story in that space, and the ones that went bankrupt and made no money? Is the ones that had great leaders inside their company. They acted fast. They made quick decisions. When they saw a good thing, they ran with it. They didn't lose any sleep. They just said, yes, let's go. And then, the ones that just could never make a decision went out of business. And I'll tell you that to where we are today. Like, leadership will never be rewarded inside Modere and inside our space than it will be in the next 12, 18 months. The apathy, the complacency, the gossip, the drama, I'm all over the place. I don't know what I'm doing or what system I should do or what this or what that or how this works. That will be punished drastically in a way that none of us want to be in that space in the next 12, 18 months. And, this is our moment. Like, I think about, just the last 10 years for Sarah and I going, man, we have a moment here that we all get to go do something that's going to be spectacular, enormous, the impact we get a chance to make, the reach we get, the audiences we get to touch, the lines we get to build, the teams we get to grow, like all that is right in front of us. And I want you to get this today because, our opportunity is bigger than it's ever been. Like, I just want you to understand that. I don't care what your background is, how much experience you have, what your teams look like the last 6 months, year, couple years. If you're starting from scratch again, you're rebuilding lines, like none of that matters. I want you to be crystal clear about this message today in this moment, because it's your time. It's your moment. Like, this is it for you. And I really believe the next 12, 18 months with what you go create, what you go build, what you go add, what you go reinforce with the teams you've got growing already, it is going to pay you for a long, 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 long time. And I'm just telling you, lines that you get to 100,000 in 3 years will be millions. Lines you get to 50,000 will be $500,000 in a couple years. I'm telling you, new teams you get started right now with what is about to happen with, customers and volume and, creating significant lines here. It is like our moment. So I want you to be fired up no matter where you are in your business. And I want to talk about 3 things that I look at all the time that really keep a business that lasts for a long, long time. And the first one I always look at is I look at, the structure of our business, the structure of my business, the structure of, our leaders, right? And look at what we need to do. Do we need to add more lines? Do we need to reinforce some lines? What is our plan for the next 12 months? How many new lines are we going to add to our business? How many new lines of significance are we going to add to our business? How many new TL lines are we going to add to our business? And I would challenge you today, we don't have time to do it now, but to really think about that between now and the end of the year with the structure of your business. And here's what I'll tell you about the structure. Here's what I see people doing is, 3 lines can get you to the top of the plan here. And what happens is people get their 3 lines and, they like to work in depth and they like to drive that volume. And I'm all for that to a certain extent. But here's what I have found over the years is that lines fall apart, lines leave, lines just break off. I mean, and for a million different reasons. And all of a sudden now you're like, holy cow, I've got to add another line because I just went from Elite 2 to D2. And I'm just like, oh my God, I lost a line. And you start building out of desperation. You start building and having conversations where, it's just, you wreak desperation. And when you do that, it's really, really hard for people to buy into your story, buy into what you're doing, buy into what you're building, buy into everything you're creating. So don't build out of desperation. Look at it and go, you know what? My business, the next 12, 18 months, I'm going to build, I'm going to rebuild, I'm going to reinforce, I'm going to go and find and chase the volume in some of these lines that I got to get deep down inside and go work. I always look at a line from a structure standpoint, and I'm like, if you can get 4, 5, 8 levels deep pretty fast in a newer line, I'm talking a line the first 90 days, that's really where the magic happens. That's really where you find people that show up and all of a sudden they add 100 people and go elite in 30 days because they weren't looking for the business. They weren't, looking for an opportunity. They weren't looking for, a side hustle, a side gig, but you found them 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 levels deep. What we have noticed in our business, all the gold typically shows up there. So how fast can you, one, recruit? How fast can you recruit through your team? And how fast can you recruit through referrals? So those are the 3 things I do every single day. I recruit like you guys know how to recruit. I recruit through the team like you guys know how to recruit through the team. And I recruit through referrals every single day. And I'm just telling you what, if that's in front of you, your business is fresh. There's nothing better, and I say this all the time, than bringing someone in that's excited, doesn't have the mental garbage going on. They got a fresh list, they got a fresh social media, they got a fresh audience, they got a fresh everything. And you're just like, I'm just telling you what, you work with that every single day. Versus I know sometimes people fall in the trap of, man, I'm just rebuilding this line for the last 2 years. Man, I'm dealing with all the crap. Man, I'm just doing my best to get that thing solid, right? And there's a time and a place for that, but it shouldn't be all your time. Actually, it should be a very little amount of your time, right? Because what you've got to do is stay in front of the new stuff. You got to stay in front of the things that are going to really reward you personally, right? You feel differently every single day when you're in front of new people, when you're working with new people, when you're chasing new business, when you're in new lines of warm markets and audiences, and whether they're offline, online. You're just a different person. You vibrate differently. People say, man, why do you vibrate at such a high level every single day? Because I'm very guarded with my time, who gets it, where it goes, what I'm listening to, who I'm talking to. I am a person that if you bring me a problem, we are going to solve it fast. And I'm talking within minutes, we're going to solve that problem. It's not going to last weeks. It's not going to last days. It's not going to last months. We're going to solve it now. And if you don't want to solve it right now, I don't want it. It's off my plate. It's done. It's moving on, because you can't go there. Most people in this business, what I have found when they're building out their structure, they're building their business, they spend more time doing everything else they should be doing than the stuff that's going to make them fired up to build their business every single day. So obviously, people that solve a lot of problems make a lot of money. You solve them fast, you'll make millions of dollars. You solve them, in seconds, you solve them, with groups, with teams, and you can teach your leaders how to do that, and that can go down into the organization. Let me tell you something. If you have a team, and I see some of the people on here, I know the size of your teams, they're enormous. And if you can figure out how to teach deep down in the organization, and problems get solved like this inside your team, like this, your team will double and triple like that. I'm just telling you, that is a big, big thing. And I'm telling you what, the more you hold on to stuff, let it go. I've learned a lot to just say, I'm sorry, it's my fault, whether it was or not. I say it fast, I say it quick, I say it, right away. I'm going to be better. And guess what? Let's just go out and do some great things right now. That's my big thing. So a couple things that I do, when I'm talking to people every single day and I'm building lines and I'm helping people get started, is what they're going to hear my vision, right? So here's what I want you all to work on for 2023. Like, I want you to work on what your story, your vision is going to be. So is it the biggest run you're going on in 2023? I've never been more excited to do something I've never done in my whole networking career in 2023. Get that piece down. When you're talking to people, they need to know what that is. And it's got to be big. It's got to be spectacular. It's got to hook them. It's got to get their attention. It's got to get them where they go, you know what? Tell me more. Show me more. Explain to me more about this. What is it for you, right? And then you need to engage that person, right? Whether they're in your team, but it should inspire them. They should be rallied to go, do more and create more. And here's the thing that I'm going to challenge you to do with this, is really bring this between now and the end of the year to people in your world. I call it a whisper campaign, that they will not sign up in your business because you sent them a 3-minute video. They're not going to sign up with your 3-minute video. This is the person you need to have a conversation with, whether it's voice memo, whether it's Zoom. They need to see your eyes. They need to see your excitement. They need to hear your voice. And you need to get your thing down, right? Because I always say, people buy your thing, then they buy you, then they buy our company, right? But you got to get your thing down. And then you need to edify and compliment them. I've got about 15 people in the month of December that are 8, 9s, and 10s that are movers, shakers. They can create things like that, no matter what they choose to do. Well, those are the people that I'm getting in front of, and they're hearing this big run I'm going on in 2023, how it's the biggest one of my whole network marketing career, what's going to happen inside, the company, the profession, them specifically. I'm edifying them. And this is all genuine. This is all authentic, how I respect them in real estate, how I've watched them build real estate teams like nobody else, how they've gone out and created millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars of sales, right? And I edify them, and I talk about how much they are just phenomenal humans, right? Whether it's a husband and wife or just, one person you're talking to. And then I'm going to talk about why I want to work with them. And I'm going to talk about what's going to happen to their life, to their thing that they decide to do with me, and what that looks like. I'm going to paint them a picture of all the people they're going to help and the influence they're going to have and the impact they're going to make, right? And the people that they're going to be able to go out and make a huge difference in their lives. And I'm going to be very clear about that. And then I'm going to talk about the game plan of what we're going to do and how we're going to do it and how we're going to accomplish all that. And then they're going to hear my vision of what's going to happen the first 30, 60, 90 days in January, February, and March. And I'm going to be crystal clear about the support they're going to get from me, crystal clear about how this is something, it's a done deal. You don't have to question if it's going to work. You got to just question how big do you want it to be and how fast you want to make it happen, right? And I am going to, be very, very clear. I'm going to be very direct. It's going to be a conversation that this individual or individuals has been waiting for their whole life. And their attitude and feeling is going to be, man, if I'm around Tony, I'm going to make a lot of money. If I'm around Tony, he's going to change my life. If I say yes to this, man, we're going to impact thousands and thousands of people really fast. Holy cow. And they're going to hear that from me. And I'm going to bundle all that up. And let me tell you something. The reason they're not going to join with your 3-minute video is because they got ego, right? And they ain't coming in that way. But if you can bundle this whisper campaign this way to that individual and you can get them to say yes, and they can say, okay, I'm ready, right? Then you're going to get their best 3 to 5 people that are 10s in their world, are people just like them. And you're going to get on a Zoom and you're going to help get their 3 to 5 people to say yes with that individual, right? Come January 2nd. So now you're going to launch a new line with that person and 3, 4, 5 of their best people. And you're going to go, make some waves really fast come January 2nd with that new person. So, you want to get that down. You want to get that down. You want to have it down and you want to work on that. And again, it's something that you should be able to tell somebody in a couple minutes. You should be able to elaborate on it in 10 minutes. You should be able to put the whole thing together on a Zoom when you're pitching it, and it should be crystal clear for 30 minutes. Because again, I believe this, if that, and we all can do this, right? I'm looking at the people on here and I know that, people are screaming for it, right? Good leadership, good mentorship, clarity, who can take people to the promised land. We're more powerful together. You are very powerful. Like your checks, your stories, the people you helped already has been phenomenal, but you're just warming up, right? You've got to figure out how do you bundle that story together and start having those conversations. That's the first thing. Here's the thing I always look at. I look at top earners. I look at, whether they're in Modere, whether they're in other companies, and I look at, okay, what did they do? What did they really do to create their story, to create their success, to create their growth, to create their teams, to create the magic they have? Here's the 2 things all of them have done, and they might have called it 2 different things, or different things on these 2 things. Is one, they all went on a run. They all got laser focused. They all cleared the decks. They all negotiated with their family and friends and said, hey, you know what? For the next 30 days, 60 days, 6 months, year, whatever it was. I don't know how extreme, they are or what their goal was or what their plan was, but they all went on some type of run. And not only did they go on a run, but they might have did multiple ones in a year. In a 2-3 year period, they might have had 6 of them, right? I think about some of the best networkers in the world today. They go on 2 or 3 of these runs every single year, and they use the other 20-30% of the year to support the 2 runs that they just got done crushing, killing, creating more new stuff than the company's ever seen before. And they support it. And they'll do that for 12, 18, 24 months. Here's what the average networker does. They kind of launch, just kind of without a lot of, discipline or a lot of craziness or a lot of, talking to people. And they just kind of watch it and see what happens. And, nothing wrong with that because everyone's at different levels if that's what you choose to do. But I'm trying to give you guys an advantage today. And every 2-3 years, They go on a run because they have to do it out of desperation, because they have to get their check up. They have to create another line so they can, get, momentum back in their business or whatever the case is. And they'll do one of these every 2-3 years. And then the best of the best do 2 or 3 every single year and use the rest of the year to support what they just went out and got started. So think about that part. Think about your structure. If it was the, Modere State of the Union, that you had to give on January 2nd about your structure, about your story I just talked about, and we were to get on a Zoom, what would that look like? What would that be? And how would you start it? And how would you close it? Second part about about building something that lasts with your teams is it easier to stay for people in your team right now? Or is it easier for them to quit, right? Because here's the thing I want you to get here. Our business is very emotional. It's a very, very, very emotional business. And you've got to get people over the line faster. You've got to get people more solid emotionally quicker. You got to get people to plant their flag and to tell the world and to sell the world quicker. You just do. Like, that is the magic in our business. So how do you do that, right? How do you get people emotionally stable in our business? How do you get people winning faster? It's like if they're on this treadmill, right? We all work out. We all been on one of those at some point. Some of you been on one today, right? It's kind of like if you're on a treadmill at 10.0, 12.0, 13.0, right? You know what that takes, to stay on that freaking treadmill at 12.0, 13.0 for a minute, for 2 minutes, for 3 minutes. And you know what it takes. You know the focus you need to have. You know how you just need to do what you do. But how do you get people? And that's your new people when they join the business. They're on the Modere treadmill at 12.0, 13.0, 11.0, 10.0. And what is my thing every single day when I bring someone in? How can I get them slowed down on that treadmill to 6.0, 5.0, 3.0? Skills are unbelievable. They're bad to the bone. They're winning. They're getting a check. They're growing their business. They're seeing growth. They're seeing their people win. They're seeing things happen all over their business, right? So sure, they slow down on the treadmill in this example of what I'm trying to talk about today, but they're bad to the bone, right? Like, they've got a business that they're proud of. They got a business that they're excited to grow every single day. They got skills that they're learning. They got skills that they're growing every single day, but the treadmill slow down. Like, my treadmill speed right now at Modere is probably 1.0, you know what I mean? And I remember when I came in, man, we were at 15.0. And, one of the things that I wanted to do was just get slower on that treadmill, slower and slower and slower. And now we're like at 1.0 because we're comfortable in the business. Like, we're over the line. It's easier for us to stay in this business than it is to quit. So if you were to look at your leaders, if you were to look at your lines, if you were to look at yourself even, where are you in that perspective? Like, is it easier for you to stay, or is it easier for you to quit? Because if it's easier for people to quit in your business, as soon as something happens, as soon as something gets thrown their way, right? It's just easier for them to drift away and eventually leave the business, right? But you've got to get them emotionally involved and figure out what that looks like for you. Figure out their patterns, right? I'm telling you what, if you can solve, this is my biggest thing to get people emotionally stable, and it's where easier for them to stay than to leave the business. If you can figure out the number one pattern that's been holding them back in 2022, and you have to, because if they bring that pattern into 2023, nothing's going to change. You got to figure out the number one thing, what that pattern is for that person. It could be you as well, right? I do this every single year at the end of the year, so I have multiple ones. But I say, what is the 1, 2, 3 things that I need to change now, or else 2023 is going to look just like 2022 is going to look. It's the same thing with people in your business, whether they're team leader, senior consultant, director 1, director 3, elite 1, elite 3, EBs. It really doesn't matter. What's the pattern that needs to get cleaned up? What's the pattern that needs to get changed? Think about that. And you got to be real with that. You know, this is the coaching. This is when you're working with people. It's way better to be a mentor. It's way better to be somebody that's going to give some hard love than to be their best friend. I'm telling you right now, there's too many people that have best friends. Oh, that's my girl. That's my BFF. That's my homie. That's my guy. That's my dude. That's my this. That's my that. And you never get to where they need to get to. So way better to be a mentor and bring hard love than to be a best friend in this business, right? I mean, I always think about this business and I go, you know what? Whether they like me or not, I don't really care. But you know what? I'm going to earn their respect. And that's my number one thing. And that leads me into the third bucket here, which is, you know, the blame and the entitlement game. You know what I mean? This blame and entitlement game is everywhere. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I just remember I used to blame at my first company. I blame everybody for everything. The only person I didn't blame was myself. You know, I would blame the company, my upline, the downline, the crossline, the people in the office, the ads that I were running, the newspapers. I mean, all that stuff. I would blame everybody. Tony wasn't having success his first 5 years because of everything but Tony, right? And I had this entitlement, you know what I mean? I was cool. I had ego. Man, do they know who I am? Man, this is bull crap. I'm not getting a fair shake. I deserve this. I deserve that. I need to be catered to. I need to be talked to differently. I need to be put up on a pedestal. I need this. I need that. Blah, 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 right? I had so much entitlement, so much blame. And then I figured out, you know what? I need to earn the respect of my team every single day. Like I need to earn the respect inside my marriage with my wife, Sarah, every single day. I need to earn the respect of my community, of my peers every single day. I need to earn the respect of people around me every single day. I can't get soft. I can't get complacent. I can't take things for granted. I can't choose, the easy route, the comfortable route. Oh, you know what? This makes me feel good. You know what I mean? All success is earned, when you're out of your comfort zone, when you're growing, you're stretching, you're aspiring. You know what I mean? It's just like we've got to take people from crisis and survival where most live today, right? And all they can think about is how they're going to pay the bills, how they're going to get by, what they're going to do tomorrow, how they're going to do this, how to do that. We got to get them the success. And we got to figure out what it's going to take to get them success from crisis and survival. And then when we get them to success, we got to figure out how we're going to get them the significance, right? And then, once we get them to significance, right, now we work on them with the contribution piece, the legacy piece, right, the scale piece, the things that they're ready to go out and really do. And, I look at that piece, the entitlement piece, and it robs people of everything every single day. It really does. And you've just got to be the one that leads from the front and earn your respect of your team every single day. So when, you're growing a business, if teams don't want to go with you, guess what you've got to say is, you know what? I'm going to go and do this because I need to do it for me because I need to earn the respect of you. As soon as you make this decision and you're going to go do something big in 2023, one of the biggest things you're going to have to figure out is your existing team, because they're going to be dragging you here and dragging you there and come over here, I need this, or come over here, I need that. And no, don't leave me. And oh my God, you're going to add new business. What the heck? You're going to forget about me? No. I want you to step up and lead more and do more of the Zooms and do more of the calls and take over more of the training, because I've got to go add new people just like you got to go add new people, because that's how we're going to grow and be stronger together as a team. So I need to keep earning the respect of you every single day. And that takes you from just an earner to a real leader. I meet earners every day. They don't impress me. You know what I mean? I don't care how big their check is, how big their group is. You know what? They stopped adding value years ago. They stopped adding value, some of them decades ago, and they're just an earner now. I'm into talking to the leaders. I'm into growing the leaders from the real leaders pool, right? That's what we're really into. But it takes this entitlement thing and just shelving it and leaving it alone and going, you know what? Enough's enough. Like, guess what? Forget about it. You know what I mean? We've got a bigger mission in life. You know what I mean? Modere is awesome and we're going to grow it to $1 billion company, but our scale and what we're going to do in the world is much bigger than that. And guess what? The opportunities and the things that we're going to be able to do together as a group, you solely, you individually, is bigger than what you can ever dream of. The impact, right? The lives and just what you know. Think about what you know now. And you guys know a lot right now and you're really good at this, but thinking about quadrupling that in 2023, think about that growth spurt. Think about that kind of mentorship, right? Think about that speed, right? In your business will be bigger than you ever dreamed of it being. And you'll be at the top and you'll have the check and you'll have it all, right? But there's another piece to having it all. And when you can have it all in your relationships, in your marriage, in your business, in your community, in your contribution, in your legacy, in whatever it is that you're doing, whatever those 3, 5, 7 things are. Once again, it's one for people to say, I got it all in Modere. It's awesome. Great. I love it. Right on. Check that box. But the other boxes should be checked as well. Because if the other boxes are checked as well, your Modere business is bigger. Your team is bigger. More people are winning. More people are soaring. And you're that much better of an example. You're that much better of a leader. You're that much better as someone they respect more and more and more and more and more. Let me tell you something. No one's leaving and going anywhere in your team. If they respect you like crazy, they see you doing everything you teach and tell them to do all the time. They see you driving harder than you drove when you first got into this business. One of the things Sarah and I always try to do is work harder today than it was when we first started in the business. Is it simple to do? Heck no. Is it easy to do? Heck, it's the hardest challenge we got every single day because it's so easy to stay comfortable and pat yourself on the back and say, well, I've done more inside this company than I've ever done in 25, 30 years in the profession. That, and again, grateful, very humble. Man, I don't take it for granted, but I know it's a trap. I know it's the biggest trap we face every single day because it's just one step. You know what I mean? It's just one step. And when you get around people making $1 million a month, I was around someone a couple of weeks ago making $3 million a month inside our space, right? And I'm just around this person. I'm just like, wow. And to watch how they think, how they act, what their mindset is, how they run their business, how they run their other businesses, how they run their marriage, how they treat their kids. Like, it is such a fascinating thing to see. And the point is that we all get to keep growing if we choose to do that, right? We all get to keep doing bigger things if we choose to do that. So your team will be the best team ever in the history of network marketing if you fall into some of those things I talked about today. So as you can see, I get really passionate about this. I think the biggest defining moment I had this year for me was it was a good year. Wasn't a great year, but it was a good year. Very grateful. And again, I don't take anything for granted, but you know, there were traps I fell into throughout the year that I let my team trap me on. You know what I mean? I let the profession trap me on. You know what I mean? I let my own head trap me on, right? More than anything, it's my personal responsibility where I let myself, get pulled down places that I shouldn't have went down because it cost me a month. It cost me 90 days. It cost me recruits. It cost me new lines. It cost me adding $100,000 a month to my check in 2022. It cost me some people leaving the business. It cost me a lot this year. And I learned from it. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to beat myself up about it, but I'm going to look at what those were, and they're not going to happen in 2023. And they've been reinforced and reinforced and reinforced. So if you can really be honest with yourself and you can really take inventory, best 2 weeks of December for me is inventory, because that inventory is gold for 2023. That inventory, I'm just telling you what, and you got to put it all down. From your business to your personal life to some of the other stuff, right? You got to put it all down, and you got to be transparent and you got to be real, right? and you gotta, you want to share it, share it. You know what I mean? If that makes you feel better, share it. I'm a big fan of, telling the world what you're about to go do and showing people and telling people and using it, not to pound your chest, but using it to inspire them. And hey, how can I help you? You know what I mean? What's your biggest thing, right? The more you can have conversations with the right people, the more you will be rewarded for those conversations. So I love you guys and ladies, and, I respect you a ton. And, I think about how awesome this team is. And, when we started 10 years ago with Justin, our biggest thing is we just wanted you to show up much faster. We wanted you to say yes much quicker. We wanted you to be around us, inside the same company right away. And you guys are here, and we wouldn't be where we're at today as a company without you. Wouldn't even be close to it. You guys are some of the most talented networkers and people I've ever met and known. And I tell you that from my heart. And I just know that, you're kind of maybe at 20-25% right now. So I can honestly say that and know that, we get to go to 50, 75 or close to 100 this year together. I fall in that same category. And, again, we're stronger together. And I don't ever want you to forget that. We are way stronger together. When Stephanie started and said, what she said about bringing, different voices and different lines and different teachings and mindsets and, gifts to this Zoom, what she was basically saying is we're way stronger together. We have the best talent pool inside of any company that I know of. And if we just use it to empower one another and to empower our teams and to really make everybody better and stronger, guess what's going to happen? We'll hit the $1 billion. The groups will be stronger. The teams will win bigger. The company story will be bigger and badder, but you will be different and you will not be the same. And the quantum leaps you will have will be quantum leaps that you've always dreamed about and thought about or written down, but now they're reality. And when you make them reality, then you just go into a whole nother world, right? And you get more creative, your imagination gets bigger, and you just see things different than maybe you could even see them, in 2022 or at the end of 2022. So thanks for having me on. I absolutely love you guys. Can't wait to be on here again. And just mad love. Merry Christmas. And can't wait to see all the awesome posts and stories on social media about you having a blast with your team and your family and starting the new year. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Tony. Thanks, guys, for joining us. That was amazing. So good.
Awesome. Take care.
Thanks.